like to make a call, please hang up and try again.
I'm Machine, the producer. You are at my mix and mastering room here at my home in New Jersey. Well, I think like many people, I started as an artist, but unlike some artists, I was like a production artist. Like for me, it wasn't jamming in the garage. It was early days. I had a sampler and a computer, and I was making beats. And so I was very much a producer before I even realized what a producer was, or that I was a producer, because me being in a band and creating stuff was always in a stripped down form, a production-based band, a studio-based band. And I was very early on, like mixing guitars with break beats and synths and stuff like that. And that was my hobby. And it was very production-based and revolved around a studio. And I realized that it's something I love to do, and I happened to be had an ear for it and naturally good at it. And once I figured out how to do that for myself, I started just helping my friends with what they were doing. And that all just slowly one day organically led to having this as my lifestyle and a job. What is the best thing about producing and mixing and what I do? Probably that I get to produce and mix, and that's what I do. Right? That's a pretty cool job, right? I mean, I never forget that. I always appreciate that and acknowledge that. Music is what I love and speaks to me, and I'm very blessed and appreciative that I have a knack for it. Because I'm not very smart at other things, I wasn't very good in school. I was okay in sports, But when you work with me or for me, it's like I have great, street smart, conceptual ways of thinking and things to do that make things work. And there's some weird kind of intelligence in that, I guess. But I rock a fat beat, bro. So let's go with that. I call it street smart recording since day one. And it's just the ability to learn how to listen, learn how to trust your instincts. That's what connects music to people emotionally. And that's what this game is all about. What is the most important thing for me for mixing a song? I just want to win. I want to get it right. One of the most rewarding things about my job is not only do I get to do something I really enjoy doing, but it's wonderful, the feeling when you're making the bands and the artists and your clients happy. It's hard work and it takes a lot of time, a lot of hours, but connecting with your artist, helping them see their vision, winning, that's winning. Winning is not getting it the way you like. Winning is being super stoked with what you've done, and that beautiful, warm reward factor when the artist comes back and is absolutely thrilled and chuffed with their record. The best part of my job is that I work my ass up, but I get to hear back, Machine, bro, oh, that's awesome. Like that does it for me in life. Or the next band, it's like, not only get to do something I like, but then I get the artists who I admire going, bro, you did it. Wow. How did you do it? That's super pumped. That makes me super pumped. How has mixing and gear evolved since I've started? Well, I think that's the premise of why we're here. I mean, we're showcasing something that is the evolution of that. And then, there's the whole subject of like analog versus digital. And I just want to say, it took me a minute. I was a little slow to it, but moving off the consoles and off the analog gear fully into the box is something that I'm very proud of as of now, the last couple of years, and very much promote. And this is with these tools that we're here to talk about. This is all exciting part of where this is all going. I think we're in this debating stage right now. It's like some people think, is it better, is it worse? And I don't really care. Because I know about the theory of evolution. What's the theory of evolution? Well, once upon a time there was like, a guy with a pick hammer, busting up rocks, and like someone gets, yo, I invented this jackhammer. It's like, that guy with the pickaxe, that muscle man was like, that jackhammer. But inevitably, the theory of evolution, the technology, the jackhammer won. There was a horse, and they made a car. That's why they call it horsepower. So the way I look at it is like, we could talk all day about the nuances of analog versus digital. And where we're at right now is a lot about emulation. And we're doing a great job of emulation. But the theory of evolution states that inevitably the technology will kick in. And where will it go from here? Hence, let's go into the box. Let's go into the future. Let's go to the theory of evolution. What makes my signal chains unique? It's my personality and my mindset as to how I hear things. And that's all we've got at the end of the day. It's like, it's okay to use your instincts, to acknowledge what feels good and sounds good to you. I like to start a mix and take all the many elements that make up a mix and start by going to mix buses where I can apply effects and plugins to the sum of that bus as a starting point. And then of course from there it always goes, then you go down to individual things. But I find it very wise to apply effects, apply a character to an overall bus as a starting point. It's kind of like a top-down mixing philosophy. And they usually wind up going down to anywhere between 8 to 12 buses. Just to roll off the top of my head, it's like everything that is kick, everything that is snare, everything that is toms, cymbals, bass, rhythm guitar, lead guitar, vocals. Sometimes the lead vocal will be broken out from the overdub or backing vocals. So on these groups, because this is always just a safe global sound starting point. So this is where I do a lot of my console emulation and beefing emulation. This is kind of where I'm using subtle bits of second and third harmonic distortion, subtle bits of EQ that are just always going to work. Let's take kick for example. Aside from console emulation, there'll be some 60 hertz, bumping the kick, taking some of the lower mids, a slight bit of lower mids at that just might cloud the mix. Subtle bits of attack, which give that character to that kick drum. For drums, I like the big attack over easy style compression. Very reminiscent of an SSL channel strip, for example. On guitar, there'll be, again, on the EQ side, there'll be that console emulation, transformer, great rock transformer console emulation, which is a form of distortion. There'll be carving out the super low end that's just gonna get in the way on the guitar bus. And enhancing with some airband, which is super high EQ that doesn't particularly sound like high end. The airband gives it a feeling of presence. and bringing those guitars forward.
Hang up. Please hang up. If you'd like to make a call, please hang up and try again. Please hang up. Hang up.
It's an interesting question, like, what can you expect from this plug and this expansion pack? Speaking for mine in particular, it's a really clever array of utility-based presets that are just, when you're starting a mix, for mastering and for your mix buses, that are non-dramatic, that are just gonna enhance and make your starting point sound really good. And then it moves on to your individual elements. And then it moves on to some of your wacky, fun, creative elements, like your crazy vocal effects and crazy stoner guitar effects. These things are replicated on a lot of time in the game. And again, they're all just good starting points. I don't want anyone to think that they're gonna go through presets and then they're done. No, going from mix to mix and production to production, there's no immediate setting that's perfect for everything. But you load up and start from these presets because it's getting you from A to X, not to Z, A to X really quick. And then you use your own ear and your own instinct to tweak from there. Why presets? Why? Why do presets? It's a funny thing because it's like, I resisted presets early in my career. And now I'm getting more into the presets myself. It's an incredible time saver. It's incredible perspective enhancer. Again, there's no one preset that's always gonna work. But as far as a workflow, the idea of incorporating presets is a really great way to keep you creative, keep the creativity going, keep the perspective going. A great catalyst to getting to the end game.